Another week, another episode of why do I even bother checking my portfolio? Bitcoin's teasing us like a flirty ex, Ethereum's still the altcoin punchbag, and Trump's out here playing tariff roulette with the global economy. Is this the bottom? Are we pumping soon? Or are we all just stuck in a bag-holding death cycle without even realizing it? Yo people, I hope you're all out there surviving in these tough times. Another market update video, and yeah, I've been enjoying these lately, and I can see that you guys are too. It's rare to find objective analysis in crypto. People usually have hidden agendas or are misleading their audience. That's not me, and that's never been me. 100% my unapologetic opinion here. I've been steering clear of the low cap coins, as I've been saying. I don't want you guys to lose money in these uncertain times. We're sticking to analysing Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll look at some fundamentals and some macro analysis, and finally a quick therapy sesh because, let's be real, we all need it. As always, whilst I am a financial advisor, this ain't financial advice. Don't sue me when Trump tweets something stupid and tanks your portfolio. So Bitcoin's taken us for a ride this week as per usual. We opened from 86k, rising all the way up to just under 89,000. The markets were looking tasty, but we couldn't break past, and subsequently have dropped all the way back down and below 83k. It seems like it's been an age since we've had a non-volatile week. We've been getting teased both ways, to the upside where it looks like we might finally be gathering some momentum and can burst forwards and confirm a reversal, but then also to the downside, where we look like we could drop down into the high 70s, maybe drop even further to the 70-72k region, wipe out more liquidity and set a stronger foundation for the next leg up. We ain't getting none of that. Instead, we're just sauntering around this no man's land region between 80 and 90k. Such a weird space to be in. In all honesty, these short-term movements don't actually mean much. We could drop to 75k, then bounce up to 87k, and then back down to 83k. I personally don't care, as I'm not a trader, I'm an investor, and therefore, my longer term thesis still has not been invalidated. All I know is that the longer we stay in this no man's land region and move sideways, the more explosive the next move will be it positive or negative. So for me to begin to call this cycle over and probably enter depression, we need to drop below 70k, close there and stay there. That for me is a huge red flag, and it will be hard to see a new all-time high created for Bitcoin if we are to follow the 4-year cycle. The best we could hope for at that stage is probably a lower high. On the flip side, I'm keeping an eye on the 90-91k level. If we can break, close and hold above this level, that for me is confirmation of a reversal, and we can look for some momentum in the markets. As for timescales, I did say for a while the end of March I expect the recovery, and in theory we did kind of get that when we pumped to 88k. But it's short-lived. I think we may be in for a bit more pain in the next week or couple weeks. Early April may cause some more heads to drop, but I do think from mid-April onwards, going into May, it will be kind to us. Famous last words. Quick break to ask, why are you not part of the best free community in crypto? Join over 1,000 people determined to make money and help each other out. Sign up to the email newsletter too. It's all free. You've got no excuses. Link down below. I've been tracking global liquidity for a while, and the trend in the past is once global liquidity bottoms and reverses, Bitcoin follows with a lag. Now, the lag can be 75 days, 85, 95, 100. I've seen different figures, and I personally don't really care. Like, what's the difference of a few weeks? It seems as though we bottomed in January and have seen sustained increase in liquidity for a few months now. This implies that we should start seeing more green in April and May for Bitcoin as per the rising liquidity. It ain't guaranteed, but that's been the pattern. Macro news has been mixed lately. It's hard to see what exactly contributed to the Bitcoin slide. We had some positive macro data come out a couple days ago. GDP in Q4 came in 0.1% better than expected. We also had jobless data coming in relatively in line with expectations. This is overall stronger than expected data, but for us that may not be good. If the Fed sees this and decides they don't need to change anything as the economy is seemingly doing well or is kind of stable, we won't get the rate cuts that we want in May, and therefore the markets may react badly to this news, as would Trump, I'm sure. The opposite is possible too. The Fed could view this data as encouraging and will think they can ease off their quantitative tightening policy. I'm not sure myself which outcome is looking more likely at this point, but to be honest, we still have over a month to go before the May FOMC, so a lot could change. Speaking of which, we have the tariff day on April the 2nd. We saw Trump announce another tariff, which was 25% on cars in the last week. But yeah, April the 2nd should bring about more volatility. Even those close to Trump aren't sure exactly what he's gonna do. He could tank the markets, pump the markets, rise more tensions in tariff wars, your guess is as good as mine. Let's hope Trump, like us, is sick of the poor market performance and wants to do us all a favour. But yeah, just keep an eye on this day. According to Trueflation, we are still doing very well in terms of inflation. We are comfortably below the Fed's target of 2%, right now at 1.79%, and a lot lower than the recent data which came in at 2.8 for February. It shows that the conditions are definitely easing, and it does put more pressure on the Fed to stop QT. The markets are still pricing in multiple rate cuts this year, around 3. Remember, at the start of the year, there was only one rate cut planned for June, but we're seeing the probabilities increasing on a month-by-month basis. 3 cuts by Q4 would be extremely stimulative for the economy, and I refuse to believe that we wouldn't see this reflected in equity and crypto markets. In the game of probabilities, it does seem like we are close or have even bottomed, and we should have a nice stretch of positive returns ahead of us in the coming months. The S&P 500 is continuing its downtrend, so it seems, after we had glimpses of a recovery short-lived in the last few weeks. This is arguably due to the tariffs again. Not good for crypto as we are linked, and any moves here may be amplified in our altcoins due to the increased risk we're taking on. The dollar was in a nice downtrend and fell pretty sharply in recent times. I hope this is a brief mini recovery we're seeing here as opposed to a clear reversal. But yeah, still some way off the region I'd like to see us fall into, the risk on region. However, with the potential for 3 cuts to be priced in over the rest of the year, I do expect this to continue to fall sharply. And remember, I've been saying that's exactly what Trump wants. He wants the dollar weak, so America's trade deficit is reduced, the markets will be pumping, and also it promotes Americans buying and doing business with Americans, as opposed to looking abroad and importing. We can see him trying to force the Fed's hand with all these tariff wars. Well, that's my theory anyway. He's purposefully suffocating the markets to try and force the Fed into action by lowering the interest rates and therefore lowering the dollar. So far it hasn't worked. Instead, it's looking like Trump has been awful for the markets, but let's be real, he's only been in for 3 months. You think he wants to be known as the president that crashed the markets? No, Trump is the beacon of hope and prosperity for the American people. Short-term pain for medium to longer term gain will be his play. Moving on to the altcoin punch bag, the worst possible altcoin you could hold, the piece of trash that is Ethereum. Just like Bitcoin, ETH also decided to tease the fuck out of us. We broke above 2k and I was hoping we could use this as a foundation, but no, straight back down again. The performance is so shambolic. We're back to October 2023 levels, literal bear market levels. And it's hard to be surprised when you got the founder doing shit like this, meowing at a damn robo-dog. Like, pump your coin, mate. Nah, in all seriousness, it's looking dire for Ethereum, and this represents our alts. I keep saying it can't get much worse and we're close to a bottom, but ETH loves proving me wrong, innit? I may just say the top is in for ETH, hopefully the reverse psychology works, but it's times like this when a project looks dead and buried that the most insane reversals can happen. I've been steadily buying Ethereum, so yeah, we just gotta wait and see what happens. If we continue the downtrend, we could go as low as 1.5, 1.6, and then drop even further into cycle over territory to 1.1, 1.2. At that point, we'll just have to throw in the towel and ride off into the sunset. Probably walk off actually, we won't have the money for cars. We did finally see net positive inflows into the ETH ETFs the other day, the first time since early March, and it was the worst Q1 on record for Ethereum in its history. Does this imply the worst is over, or am I just smoking hopium? I read a few interesting news articles in the last week. The most bullish may be the increasing stablecoin adoption that's being hinted. We've been seeing the topic of stablecoins heating up in recent weeks. The regulations surrounding stablecoins seem to be relaxing or increasing in a positive manner, whichever way you want to look at it, in order to allow more people, companies, governments to accumulate and hold. $1 trillion in stablecoins by the end of 2025 is an insane number to think about. We're currently at an all-time high level of 208 billion, so a 5-fold increase, that's a significant injection of capital. Some of you may be thinking, why stablecoins? How will that be beneficial for our alts? They're just stable. Well, yeah, but the wider impact on crypto would be exponentially good. The increase in liquidity, remember, a lot of people use stablecoins as the on-ramp into crypto. Increasing stablecoins means there's more liquidity able to flow into altcoins. It signifies increasing market confidence with huge players holding and investing in stablecoins. It signifies greater mainstream adoption of crypto. It's the bridge between TradFi and DeFi. And speaking of DeFi, that's probably the sector set to benefit the most. All those yield protocols, farming, lending, staking, borrowing, this influx would supercharge DeFi and, in particular, I don't want to jinx it, but Ethereum. DeFi on ETH rockets, ETH price in theory rockets, risk appetite in the market rockets, and our altcoins further down the risk curve will also rocket. Overall, this could be an extremely bullish move for crypto. Something else worth noting, obviously the fear and greed index is at fearful levels. High fear, we know the whole be greedy when others are fearful thing, but it seems as though it's only retail who are fearful, and I can see this within my community. A lot of the guys like myself who have been around for years aren't too worried. They don't think this is the end and have been either patiently waiting or accumulating more. This chart also supports this. The Bitcoin whales are buying and have been buying this whole time. It's retail who are running scared and getting shaken out. That's the goal of the market manipulators. The smart ones don't run, they see the opportunity. It's the everyday Joes that get screwed. I get it's difficult if you're new to see the blood, but that's where you leverage other people's experience and knowledge, like myself or others that you trust. Not those that flip-flop for views or go along with the majority to play it safe. If the Bitcoin whales are accumulating, we've got the US announcing SBRs, we've got potential game theory on the horizon, encouraging macro conditions, but John, your neighbour, who bought the top of Trump coin and has panic sold everything, is saying the cycle is over. Which side are you wanting to lean towards? Finishing off as we do with some therapy. I need it, you guys might need it, and it's good to have some general discussion. Just a light conversation. By now, we should all be used to the blood in the markets. It's been this way for months now, so the fear and confusion should just be, well, acceptance or maybe depression. If you're still here, I salute you honestly. I know so many people close to giving up or have given up completely. I still encourage you all to not look at your portfolios every day. It can be very testing on your mental. It is so difficult to stomach these losses, although I should add these are unrealized losses. But I keep saying it ain't meant to be easy. How can you expect the 10x plus returns if you can't handle the 75% dips? If it were that simple, everyone would be rich. Forget the success stories in crypto. The survivorship bias is glaringly obvious. You hear about the few that made multi 6-7 figures, but not the majority who lost their life savings, didn't take profits, missed time cycles, got rugged. To make money, you gotta have an elite mindset. Take the punches, get up and go again. Except this time, wiser, smarter, sharper. Good times will be coming, but we first gotta ride out the bad times. Looking at the investor psychology chart, where do you think we are? Are we in the bear trap? Are we at the cycle being over? You can probably guess where I think we are. Not every coin will recover to previous highs. Some may make lower highs or not bounce at all. The reason you bought when you did is because you believed it to be a strong coin, right? If you invested for future growth, not just a trade, these fluctuations shouldn't concern you. But even if your coin is dead and buried, it really isn't the end. When the market reverses, the money-making opportunities will return, be it the meme trenches, layer ones, AI, or in my opinion, something completely new. I'm seeing rumours of robotics as a future narrative. I think RWA will surprise people, simply because it didn't have a blow-off top like AI, and DeFi could mount a serious comeback. You gotta break out of the mentality of, yeah, I lost and it's over, to, yeah, I lost, but I'm gonna get it all back. If I had the former mentality, I wouldn't have been invested in crypto past 2019. I was also taking serious beatings. And this is the best place to be honest. In my community, we get the market analysis, both crypto and financial. We've got the high cap coins, the low cap gems, the degen plays. We've got the welcoming, helpful atmosphere, all of that. So money will be made here. Subscribe if you would be interested. Aside from that, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please feel free to join the Discord and newsletter link down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.